I still honestly don't understand how much impact that moment had on people. And then the fact that the mural has been done, I went on to research like where it is and everything, and I realized it's not actually somewhere far away, and I decided to come and see it for myself in real life, and it's much more beautiful in person. Such a beautiful artistic work. A lot of people relate it with courage and youthfulness as well, but more so courage, because if the fact that I'm a young woman and I was able to like stand ground and speak to a police officer in full uniform, and he was even armed, it motivates people to be like to also step up and be courageous as well. So I'm feeling the protests are becoming, as we keep on doing them, are becoming less and less impactful, and more we are losing more than we are gaining. So I feel in the same manner that we were able to come together as young people online on the social media, I think it's time we take that step back and introspect and come up with a strategy so that we can see what will be more impactful and cause less losses. I can't say no more protests, because if you also think about it, the government hasn't left any leeway for us to communicate our grievances except through protests. And ideally, protests are constitutionally backed, and we should be able to continue protesting. And it has been a point since the beginning that there's no room for dialogue. It is clearly understood what we need done, and we can't retrogress to that position where we are like, okay, let us discuss. There's nothing to discuss. As soon as Rex lost his life, the chapter of people sitting down and discussing was closed. To be honest, as I sit here as Shakira, I don't feel there would be a more effective solution than President Ruto resigning, and for a functional IEBC to be put in place so that the country can go into election, like from the president's level all the way down to members of parliament and all the levels, because most of them, they have failed. And the fact that you don't even have anything to show for it. You know, maybe if they were out here tear gassing people, killing people, and then they go home and they're eating properly, they're living properly, it would have made a little bit of sense. But the fact that you're going to poverty, and like, it's shameful the state at which our policemen are living.
Given a chance to be in a leadership position, say the president, what would you do in the current state we are in?
Nitajibu kama another person I saw online. Maybe I don't want to be president. I can't even imagine what it takes to be president. Yeah. So I don't have the qualifications or the, like, no, that is not a position I would even want to imagine myself in. So it's Ruto afanye kazi yake.
Hi.
Nice to finally.
Nice to meet you too.
This is like exquisite.
Asante.
Beautiful. So
Asante.
Thank you so much.
Yo, thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Thank
you for inspiring. Thank you for giving us more life.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving us strength.
What's up, everybody? This is Kenya Online Media, your #1 source of entertainment news. My name is Eve Nyaga, and with me back again on Kenya Online Media is the fierce Shakira Wafula. And as you can see, we are sitting in front of a mural that was done by Banks, who we'll talk to much later. And let me tell you, this mural represents so many things, and that is why we are here to talk to Shakira, just to catch up with her. You know, we've been seeing her everywhere. Tujue, what is happening? Shakira, how are you?
Oh my God, I'm fine. Nice to meet you again.
Yes. The last time we were together, you know, ilikuwa siku ya maandamano na tukaachana na ukaenda maandamano tena.
Yes. Yeah. And I've actually been protesting all the protest days since. The last time I protested was on Tuesday. Yeah. So bado, we're still we're still trying. We see what we can do to reclaim our country.
Yes. So right now we are sitting in front of, a mural of yourself. How does it feel to see such a huge space with your face on it?
Oh my God, it's so surreal, to be honest. I was tagged yesterday, last night. I saw the pictures, the images were sent to me, and I was like, I still honestly don't understand how much impact that moment had on people. And then the fact that the mural has been done, I went on to research like where it is and everything, and I realized it's not actually somewhere far away. And I decided to come and see it for myself in real life, and it's much more beautiful in person. Such a beautiful artistic work, and I'm very appreciative. I'm waiting to meet Banks as well, so that I can say thank you. Words are not enough, but it's surreal, to be honest. Yeah.
What do you think this mural, this particular photo, represents, this moment? What does it represent?
I think a lot of people relate it with courage and youthfulness as well, but more so courage, because if the fact that I'm a young woman and I was able to stand ground and speak to a police officer in full uniform, and he was even armed, it motivates people to be to also step up and be courageous as well. So, and which is something that has been associated with this movement. We say we are fearless. So I did not anticipate that it would be my face, but I'm happy that it's happening.
Your face represent, fearlessness.
Yes, yes.
All right, so Shakira, the movement has still been going on. I think last Tuesday, today is on Friday. Last Tuesday there was still protest. On Thursday there was supposed to be protest, but kuna vile zilisimamishwa. And some of the people have lost their loved ones, the fallen soldiers, fallen heroes, and we keep losing people every time kuna protest. And some people are of the opinion, the families of the people that have lost these people are like, you're being insensitive to us who have actually lost people. It's now time to stop. What's your take on that?
I don't think it's time to stop entirely. I don't think that is what they are actually calling for. It's hard to put myself in the situation of these people and families that have been immediately affected, those who've lost their loved ones, those who are still nursing injuries as we speak, and those who've lost their property and their businesses. I can't pretend to understand what it is they're experiencing, but it can't be easy. So personally, I think the whole movement as a Gen Z movement to try and reclaim our country from the corrupt leaders, I'm for the opinion that it's time for us to take a step back and introspect about a way that we are going to create more impact moving forward. Because with the protests right now, like you said, a lot of people are losing their lives. People are being injured. Property is being.
For example, last Tuesday, there was a young boy who was shot at the age of 19. He was not even part of the protest.
Yeah, he wasn't part of the protest, and he was just caught in the crossfire. And right now, the protests, where it's not registering as significant number of people as it did in the beginning. And even the police, they're so vigilant. They're not even allowing. On Tuesday, I remember you'd stand like 3 or 4 people. By the time you're 6, 7 people, the police are already on your case with tear gas and rubber bullets. So I'm feeling the protests are becoming, as we keep on doing them, are becoming less and less impactful, and more we are losing more than we are gaining. So I feel in the same manner that we were able to come together as young people online on the social media, I think it's time we take that step back and introspect and come up with a strategy so that we can see what will be more impactful and cause less losses.
So no more protests?
I can't say no more protests, because if you also think about it, the government hasn't left any leeway for us to communicate our grievances except through protests. And ideally, protests are constitutionally backed, and we should be able to continue protesting. It is how it is turning out for us right now that is, it's like I feel right now we are between a rock and a hard place. So I'm still in my mind, I'm still trying to like think what will be the best way moving forward. But I can't say entirely no protest, because that is the only way we have for now. Yeah.
There's another way also, the president had a conversation with the young people on X. Is that a way, is there a way that, Kenyans, Gen Z, millennials, anybody really can air their grievances on social media, via social media? I mean, this whole movement has been driven by social media.
Yes. To be honest, that is more like saying we are calling for dialogue, and it has been a point since the beginning that there is no room for dialogue. It is clearly understood what we need done, and we can't retrogress to that position where we are like, okay, let us discuss. There's nothing to discuss. As soon as Rex lost his life, the chapter of people sitting down and discussing was closed. So if Ruto were to continue staying in his position, I think it is prudent that he does exactly what the youth are demanding. All the CSs and all the members of parliament and all the leaders who have backlog of cases, they are known to be corrupt. They should be investigated and held accountable. All the rogue police, the killer cops, they should be arrested, removed from the service, and they should be charged and taken to court and punished. Like another thing, if you think about it, if Ruto was to do what we expect him to do, he will also go back, look at himself and all the cases that he has trailing behind him, and resign.
So he is leading his people with, cases.
Yes. Yes. So to be honest, as I sit here as Shakira, I don't feel there would be a more effective solution than President Ruto resigning, and for a functional IEBC to be put in place so that the country can go into election, like from the president's level all the way down to members of parliament and all the levels, because most of them, they have failed. So we just give a chance to new people to come forth, step forth and say, I'm willing to represent and serve the people in this manner. 60 days, elections, campaigns to be conducted, and young people to be allowed to register for voting with the voters' cards and the IDs to be free, because ideally, why are you paying to get an ID? IBC to only allow approved and people who are like qualify to be in these positions to vie for these positions. So until we are at that point, whether it is this year or until 2027,
no dialogue.
There is no dialogue,
and we shall still keep protesting.
Hapo kwa protest, to be honest, I really feel bad the losses that we incur during the protests. I can't say 100% like no protest, and I can't say 100% like yes, let's keep pushing forward with the protests at this time. Yeah.
All right. So you've talked about the president resigning, and let's have a new election. And I mean, when the movement started, it was all about the heavy taxation, finance bill. It was all money related. Yeah. And when we talk about elections, that means that there's a whole new budget for that, and it's gonna cost Kenyan taxpayers some money. And some people are of the opinion that mbona sasa tujirudishe mahali penye we are spending more money, yet we can give him some time mpaka 2027, we see what he does. What's your take on that?
He has had time to second year right now, and the amount of money being lost through corruption, like backdoor corruption as well as budgeted corruption, I don't think if we wait until 2027, it will equate to the amount of money that Kenyans are going to spend on like re-electing a new government to place. So even the other day, the spokesman was saying that, I don't know, 9 billion has been lost because of the protests. But how much do we lose from corruption? It's almost 2 billion every day. So 9 billion, 2 billion every day, you can't compare.
The math is not mathing.
Exactly, the math is not mathing. So yes, we're going to incur some expenses. It's an expense to conduct a free and fair election, but compared to what the country would lose if these same politicians will stay in place and continue laundering our money in the same manner, I don't think you can compare. Yeah.
Right. So one of the things that the president had Gen Zs about was the cabinet secretaries, and he fired all of them na akabakisha mmoja peke yake mwenye anasimamia wengine wote. How did you feel when that news was announced? That, you know, it is this cabinet secretary who will?
I'll start from the time he announced that he was firing. It was a celebration, it was a win for to a lot of people, the fact that all the CSs they lost their jobs. But we didn't see it wasn't gazetted, the vacancy of these positions until much later when he came to announce that Musalia Mudavadi is going to act as the CS of all these ministries. So it doesn't make sense how there'd be over 20 ministers and then suddenly one person is enough to take care of all of them. Even if it's in acting capacity, I don't think even legally that's okay. So it's like we are being played to some extent. And then there's also another list, although we are not sure whether it's true or not true, but the list of proposed cabinet secretaries as well. They're still the same people, reshuffled, others reshuffled, and the new ones, they still don't have a good history behind them when it comes to leadership and the qualifications of these roles. So it started as a win, and then it was like, hold on, what is this guy actually doing? Like he's
tunadanganywa, tunachezwa.
Tunachezwa kabisa. Yeah.
Right, so moving on, acha nikutoe from the political scene kidogo. The country has been dealing with so many losses of the women who were found at Mkuru kwa Jenga. I don't know, when you saw that story, even being as a woman, how did it make you feel?
It was very heartbreaking, to be honest. And the manner in which these people were disposed of, like in sacks and tied with ropes, like you try and question yourself, what kind of person, like what would push somebody to this level, and the fact that majority of them were women. And then you remember during on 25th there was a time the internet connection had gone completely down, and once the internet came back up, there was reports that about the Githurai massacre and a bunch of women that had gone missing. So you start questioning, are these the women who lost their life on that day, and why did it have to happen this way? And the fact that the dumping site is so close to the police station and they did not do anything, and the fact that even when the bodies were being recovered, it wasn't anybody within the government that was doing this work. It was the young people of the slums who were working. They were risking their lives, and the only protection they had was gloves. They were reaching out with sticks, and they're going with their own bodies to try and retrieve these people. So it was really sad, quite heartbreaking, and I can't even imagine now the people the family members of these people, what they're actually experiencing. And then the fact that the police thought it would be okay to come up with this weird story about a serial killer vampire and present it to the people like they thought we'd just take it lying down and accept it and move on. They didn't even put any effort to, like, movies are done with better budgeting and better planning. It's as if somebody woke up and they were like, you know, if we actually do this, Wakenya ni wajinga watakubali, and that's not true. So it's the way the bodies were found and the way the government responded. And until now, Ruto himself, I don't think he has made a comment in the regards of the people who were found in that dumping site. And he's busy opening bus stations and boreholes and other things. It's like, what is this guy doing?
Do we have, our priorities mixed up?
Yeah, it's very sad. It's quite heartbreaking, to be honest. And I just wish we hadn't even reached to the point where people had to be killed and dumped in such a manner. And the fact that even the acting IG, when he came to office, the first thing he thought he should do is ban protests within the CBD, instead of looking at killer cops and trying to investigate how did these bodies land here and what happened to these people. Yeah. So it's a sad state.
Right. So I'm speaking about the bodies as well. What was off for you? What exactly likufanya ukafeel, okay, like this person you're presenting to us as, the prime suspect is off. This person who says ameua at 42, this evidence you're giving us is off. What made you, what was off for you, sana?
Everything. The fact that bodies are being dumped there and the police were not able to first recognize that there was some weird activities going on. But as soon as members of that community identified these bodies, one day later we have a suspect. And how do you kill 42 people, 42 full-grown adults without anybody noticing? And then the last body is when you decide to call a boda rider to come and help you carry the body. Kweni, the other bodies, how did you carry them? Or these other boda riders, they didn't have the sense to report. And the fact that even the evidence presented, like those panties, clearly nobody had worn those underwears. Walienda wakazinunua wherever they took them and put them on that table. They were as good as new. And even there was SIM cards and everything. Isn't the police supposed to be able to pin calls and messages being sent from cell devices? So all those SIM cards and devices, they were not able to identify like there's something wrong going on until this moment. And the fact that even the person who was presented, he was not even part of the community there. People don't know him. And I think, if I'm not wrong, he's a Ugandan. So it was everything about that presentation was just vile. The fact that they would think people would buy this and move on from it like nothing has happened. It was tutusi, like they're testing our intelligence. It was a bit too much, excessive.
The government pathologist as well reported that those bodies that were found there, because you've talked about the Githurai massacre, he said that there were no bodies that had bullet wounds. So what is happening? What exactly is happening? Is the government trying to hide something? Ama we actually have a serial killer, maybe not this person who was caught, on the loose?
It's if it's true, I don't know how the witnesses involved in doing the postmortem and identifying that there are no gunshot wounds on these people. But if it is for whatever reason that there is a serial killer, these bodies, there are people who like a serial killer would do an individual or two individuals at a time, not a whole group of people together. And the level of decomposition of the bodies that were found, there are people who lost their lives at around the same time. None of the bodies found gave even the slightest evidence somebody had been dumped there longer than a month or two ago. So it's obvious that there's something sinister at play. We are not sure exactly what it is. And if it's true that the government is trying to hide the fact that their own police murdered these individuals, it's just a testament to what the Gen Z are out to like expose. Like these people do not care about us. They are ruthless, they are merciless, and we need to overhaul the people in power and give way to new leaders.
Yes, all right. Back to some politics, kidogo. There's last Tuesday you've mentioned, and I was in town myself. There was a lot of tear gassing, lobbing tear gas. Yani wakiona tu watu kidogo hivi kidogo. Yani just a small group. It's like they were trying to chase away everybody who was in town. Yeah. And some people died. There's someone who was shot on the eye. It was really bad. And they're still killing people. They're still out there, using so much force on protesters. And we have an acting IG. So what do you think should be done? In the event that kutakuwa na protests zingine?
The first mistake the new IG, the acting IG did was to try and ban protesting within the central business district. He has no mandate to do that. So ideally, he should have stepped forth and there was a court ruling that banned the police from firing tear gas and rubber bullets and live bullets at protesters. So he could have come forth and cemented that if at all, yes, you're going to continue with this protest, as the police unit, we are going to assure that we are going to keep you protected. Nobody is going to tear gas or fire at anyone unless we see that these are people out to damage, like the way goons have been infiltrating the protests. So I think the first thing it would have been to back up the people, because again, if anything, we are fighting for the rights of everyone, including the police. Because in fact, the other day there was this sketch by Crazy Kena. It's how miserable they are. Basically, they are fighting for this regime, but when they go back to the places they call home, they have nothing basically to themselves. So it's like,
do you think they are afraid of losing their job? Because they have orders. Pia wewe sasa unge kwa kazini uambiwe, Shakira, I want you ukienda kwa streets fanya hivi na hivi.
No, it's the fact that I have a job doesn't diminish my thinking capacity. I should be able to still reason as a proper human being. And we've seen police people, a few policemen who have done this, and unfortunately they have lost their jobs. But to be honest, I feel I'd be better off out there hustling than working for somebody to help them. Like, it's blood in your hands. What kind of life are you living? And the fact that you don't even have anything to show for it. Maybe if they were out here tear gassing people, killing people, and then they go home and they're eating properly, they're living properly, it would have made a little bit of sense. But the fact that you're going to poverty, and it's shameful, the state at which our policemen are living. So it's one should be able to, regardless of the job you hold, you should be able to maintain your individuality and your thinking capacity as a basic human, nothing excessive, just humanity. Yeah.
So we've seen the number of protesters inaenda ikienda chini kabisa. Why do you think that is the case? Is it that watu wanaogopa kuja kwa street kuwawa? Ama there are some people who feel like, okay, now this is enough, let's wait for the president to act on what he has said. What do you think is the reason?
I don't think anyone is sitting back saying, let us give Ruto a chance. That's not it. Those who are not are not showing up on the streets, it's because they are afraid. They are fearful for their lives. The fact that they have witnessed people being killed in front of them, people being harassed and beaten up, and others being abducted and turning up dead. That's, I think, the fear for your individual life. That's the only thing that is keeping people off the streets. I don't think there's any sane young person who's at home like, let's give Ruto a chance. No, I don't think that's possible.
None.
It's hard for me to admit that there is an individual like this. But you see, I've also seen online, there are people who are I don't know what term I should use, but okay, so that I don't sound insensitive or abuse them. They're Raila backers, people who, it's like they can't think for themselves and they can't reason and they can't do anything unless Raila tells them. And the fact that right now Raila showed up and was on the side of the government, and then he took a step back because a lot of people complained about it, and then now he's like seesawing. So a lot of people who have this ideology of I have to look up to a specific politician, perhaps they might be seesawing or at such a level, but a majority of us we've had enough. Yeah.
So kumekuwa na two sides of, you know, like there are only two sides of a coin, you know, and we've been talking about people losing lives and everything. We forget to look at the wins that this movement has had. In your opinion, what are some of the wins that this movement has had, as much as, you know, you are talking about let's change strategy, let's change structure so that we avoid the loss of lives?
Yeah, I think so. From the beginning, when Ruto eventually sent the finance bill 2024 back to Parliament, even though the Parliament hasn't resumed yet, but at least there was that. The fact that he came out and fired the cabinet secretaries and the former IG of the police service resigning. And the fact that young people have been able to come together and see and understand the kind of impact they can have towards the direction of the country, and the fact that we are even motivating other countries, like we have Nigeria, Uganda, South Africa, like people are seeing what's happening in Kenya and they are taking note and they are like trying to study. These are things that we can celebrate, but they are not that impactful, to be honest. If you think about the
Really,
for me, the fact that even one person, even if it was one person to die, and we are not yet there. There have been some wins, and yes, we celebrate them, but for me,
kidogo kushinda the losses.
yeah, it's not as impactful for me yet. Yeah, and I even if we move to the point where there is a change in the government and people are being held accountable, until we see that a structure has been put to place to try and compensate these families that have lost people and those who have been injured, we need to do something for these people who've been directly affected. Yeah.
Who exactly needs to do something, the government or the people?
It should be the government, because it's the government that instigated all this. But at the end of the day, when we say the government, they're acting in capacity of the citizens. It's our money, basically, and it's our energy, and they're supposed to be serving us. So generally it will end as Kenya, we saw what you had to sacrifice in order to redeem our country. And I know we can't return these people back to life, but this is what we have as a form of solace and condolences to these families. Yeah.
Given a chance to be in a leadership position, say the president, what would you do in the current state we are in?
Nitajibu kama another person I saw online. Maybe I don't want to be president. I can't even imagine what it takes to be president. Yeah. So I don't have the qualifications or no, that is not a position I would even want to imagine myself in. So it's Ruto afanye kazi yake. Ruto afanye kazi yake.
Kama hauji imagine kama president, is there a leadership position you picture yourself in? You know, an MP, a woman rep, a senator, a CS. Is there a leadership position you picture yourself in, and then you're like, okay, me as Shakira, I know I can serve the people very diligently in this position?
No, to be honest, no.
Come on.
Let me tell you. First, okay, I'm not that young, but I think I'm a bit young, and there's some level of wisdom and knowledge that comes with age that I don't think maybe nikifika 35. After 35, I might be in a position I'm like, maybe. And then I also don't have a degree. I'm currently in university. So until I get the proper educational qualifications to be running for these positions, that's when I might start considering. So for now, pengine niende nivae KU student leadership.
But kila Kila mtu anasema, oh, we need young people in the cabinet, we need young people to advise the president. Sasa ni nani wengine kama si watu kina Shakira who have been so vocal during this time?
There are 57 million people in this country. Over 50% are young people. I don't think we can lack somebody who is willing to come, like, to step forward and say this and this position is what I feel I will do best in, and then for the people and functional IBC to come and judge and say yes, actually tunaweza kukupatia chance. And you see, actually that's something else where our parents failed us. They keep electing and re-electing leaders who time and time again have shown they are not able to serve people. So I think for us young people, we are a group where tunakupatia 5 years. Tukiona 5 years ni mingi sana, by the way, tutaikatiza katikati and put somebody else who's willing to serve. So yeah, people, we are many Kenyans, hatuwezi kosa mtu. But for now, having like leaders or quote unquote somebody to represent us is not necessary. Hatujafikia hiyo stage bado.
Right. So moving forward, where do we see, the Gen Z movement headed to, especially if at all some of these things that you're fighting for will not change?
At least let us remain vigilant as young people. Let us keep, tuweke these leaders bumper to bumper. Even if we are not able to make a change 2024, by the time 2027 in Africa, people will be having white hair. They'll be stressed, they'll be wrinkled, all that tired, and they'll not be willing to come and fight us again. So at least for that, let us stay vigilant. Let us stay in the know. Keep ourselves informed with what is happening in our country. Yeah.
Do you think Kenyan youth are setting precedents for other youth in other parts of the country and the world?
Most definitely. And I'm proud to be part of the young people, yes.
This face will forever be remembered.
Oh my goodness. To be honest, I did not anticipate, but I'll go in the history books. At least nikiuliza Mungu, what did you do? I will say I was there. I showed people you can be courageous, and courage is going to move you further than any other virtue. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shakira, for your time and your sentiments.
Asante pia. Nice to sit with you again.
Nice to see you again, with you again as well. Yeah, so guys, make sure that you follow Shakira. Let's support her. She is the face of bravery and courage. All right, keep it KOM for more.
Hi.
Nice to find out.
Nice to meet you too.
This is exquisite.
Asante.
Beautiful. So
Asante.
Thank you so much.
Yo, thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Thank you for inspiring. Thank you for giving us more life.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving us strength. Thank you for showing that we can be out there, but there's someone who's of course mutually having the same interests as we are.
Yeah.
So keep going. The road is not yet. It's a long way, but all the best, man.
All the best to all of us, because we are in the same struggle.
Yes.
But I'm curious, why did you decide to start with this image? Because I've been told eventually you're going to have a whole art scene for about the protest.
Yes.
So why exactly?
So this image is the image of the real what's going on.
Yeah.
We didn't believe, or they didn't believe, and they're not gonna believe.
Yeah.
So Gen Zs have showed us that we've been on protests before. The earlier years we've done a lot of murals around the city, but this time we were very cautious of our movements, and how you came in and you showed courage. This was the face of courage. So this is the one that is going to bring courage to every artist, because I'm planning to have a lot of artists here join me to paint the whole place.
Yeah.
So that it can become a place where people can come and heal.
Yeah.
So this is a healing piece to me as well, and it's a healing piece to the country.
Yeah.
So it's the one I started with, and the next pieces that are coming are also gonna be healing, because I have to also paint the fallen people, Akina Rex, Akina, yeah, man. There's a lot of murals I have to do here. So this is a start, and there's many more to be done. Yeah.
To be honest, this week has been hectic for me personally, especially after the Tuesday protest. It was the police were a bit heavy-handed compared to how they've been on Tuesday, and specifically on Tuesday I had strong reason to believe that they were out specifically for me and other individuals who have been vocal. So I had to go into hiding, and it felt a bit heavy. And to be honest, like you said, healing. It felt just being tagged yesterday and then coming here and actually seeing it in real life. Man, it's quite impactful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well. You know, like, you know, as I said, you gave me life, and for me to do this piece over here, of course, there's some elements of, because it reminds me of Okiom Tata when he was holding onto the rails and he was chained onto them. So I was to put Okiom Tata, but within time, I just thought I would post it because I had other places to paint that was scheduled. So this is an unfinished piece. It's still ongoing. There's still some more. You're gonna see some tampons running, some bullets running on this piece. Some of the major faces of the revolution that you've seen, the Kasamuel, and those other elements that you've seen. So it's gonna be an interesting world for everyone to come in and, you know, participate and have the space where they can feel like, you know, they can continue with the vibe and the spirit goes on for the, you know, a better Kenya. And
this place is open for like people to come.
Place is open. Place is open, but taking videos and photos, there's gonna be a fee because the artists also need to be compensated with the paint. We're not being funded with nobody. It's just individual effort. Like me myself, I just come with my paint out of whatever commissions I've been doing. I saved some paint to come and paint this. There's nobody who's I saw in my comments someone is who's funny. No, then you know, it's us Kenyans who are going to support us Kenyans. So I'm happy that, you know, you came over here, you just gave it more life, and let's keep the spirit going, never tire. You know, we live once, and if we fall for the right reasons.
We fall while standing, not while
on our feet. Yes.
Banks, if someone wanted to support you, maybe you can share your number.
All right. We have what is that? The pay bill.
We're working on a pay bill, but again, at the moment, as Banks level shared, I think maybe we'll give a pay bill out soon, and also his phone number probably, or you know.
So I'm curious, if I was to commission a painting like this, how much do you charge? So
for me, I charged 15,000 shillings a square meter.
What is a square meter?
A square meter, a meter is probably here. So a square meter would be. Would be that square.
So this is like maybe 6.
This is probably you're looking at we're looking like a 6 meter. 6 meter by 3 meter high.
Sawa. We'll see what you can do. This is very. I don't know. To be honest, I didn't think it would reach at this level, and I'm not so like familiar with the graffiti and painting scene. But those people who know, they're like, do you know, like Banks of all people, Banks, where Mefika? So I was like, very, very humble, and I'm happy to have known of artists like you, and I'm going to be like keeping tabs with this scene.
Asante.
I really appreciate
you as well. Give me some love. Asante, Mami.
Thank you so much.
Keep going. You have a strong heart. Keep going. Okay. Thank you for what you're doing for Kenya. Asante.
Is it okay if we take a picture?
Yeah, of course. 50 bob only.